Hey everyone! Meghan Markle's back in the headlines with a long, over-the-top interview with Chang from Bloomberg. She went on about her financial literacy, raising kids, her business ventures, and even announced, "I'm a real person," as if anyone needed convincing. And of course, she took another shady swipe at the royal family. Meghan complained that she was made to wear nude pantyhose and that everything she said was under a microscope. Now, honestly, doesn't this just beg to be turned into a parody? Just picture a brand new South Park episode called "I'm So Totally Real, You Guys," or maybe Meghan's Word Salad. You can already see Cartman, Kyle, Stan, and Butters completely roasting that interview. "Let's get started." Meghan spoke up again, and just like clockwork, she served up another dose of truth. Sitting in a cafe with burgers and beer, she looked oh so tragic and declared, "They made me wear nude pantyhose and controlled every word I said." To her, it all felt so inauthentic, like one of those cheap 80s movies where pantyhose came in plastic eggs. Now she says she's finally free. She wears whatever she wants, tells her truth, and feels comfortable in her own skin. But in reality, no one was forcing her. The palace knew, give Meghan the smallest excuse, and she'd spin it into another drama about the horrors of royal life. Cartman would just snort, "Oh, pantyhose are her personal nightmare. Quick, call the UN. This is oppression." The truth is, in Britain, nude pantyhose are just part of the dress code for official events, not some form of oppression for women. And no, Meghan wasn't the only victim of this so-called tyranny of neutral tones. Kate Middleton and the others wear them without making a fuss. But Meghan took a small everyday detail, turned it into a big drama, and made pantyhose a symbol of her fight for freedom. Bravo, Meghan! That's her classic routine. Complaints, exaggerations, and theatrical memories she repeats in interview after interview. Butters would probably ask in his innocent little voice, maybe Meghan was expecting Cinderella's glass slippers, and all she got was pantyhose? Then Meghan dusted off her old poor childhood story again. She recalled how, as a teenager, she lived paycheck to paycheck, clipped coupons, and went bargain hunting, as if she had grown up in poverty. She seriously declared that it's important for women to know how to earn money, manage it, and be independent. But the reality was very different. Her father, Thomas Markle, was a successful lighting director on Hollywood sets, once won the lottery, and paid for his daughter's prestigious private school. Her life was nowhere near that kind of poverty. Still, Meghan keeps trying to play Cinderella, saved by nothing but her own inner strength. Kyle would probably just smirk and say dryly, "That's her favorite fairy tale. Tell it 100 times, and the audience will eventually believe it." But Meghan wasn't done yet. She says that at 13, she worked at a frozen yogurt shop called Humphrey Yogurt. According to her, that hard work taught her to value money and now shapes both her investments and the way she raises her kids. "Taking care of yourself is the most inspiring thing in the world," she proudly declares. Cartman beams with admiration. "Meghan's my hero. She started by scooping frozen yogurt and now she can buy the whole shop, coupons and everything." Kyle just rolls his eyes. "Eric, give me a break. She's not some business guru. She just married the spare prince. That's her whole idea of financial literacy." And when it came to investments, Chang asked her directly, "Do you and Harry make deals together? Do you have a joint strategy?" Meghan immediately nodded. "Yes, of course." Then she went straight into her usual mission and purpose mode. She explained that their strategy is to look for things we both believe in, things that can move the world forward. According to her, Harry, after serving 10 years in the army, sees everything through the lens of service and how to be useful to people, while she looks for points of intersection. Sounds nice, but it's all empty talk. No projects, no directions, no actual numbers, just vague words about service and meaning. Classic Meghan. She talks a lot but says nothing. Kyle rolls his eyes. Looks like these two have been investing in the complaints fund for 5 years now. And Butters, clutching his notebook to his chest, adds innocently, I still don't get it. Which stocks are we supposed to buy? And of course, here comes the legendary soap story again. Meghan is back to her favorite tale about how, at 11, she wrote a letter to Procter & Gamble, upset about an ad that said, women are fighting greasy pots and pans. And, in her version, the company immediately changed the slogan, straight out of Hollywood. But now it turns out the whole thing was actually set up by her father, Thomas Markle, along with Nickelodeon, who helped push the story onto television. So it wasn't some spontaneous child's victory over sexism at all. It was a staged campaign, with Meghan simply rolled out as the poster child for protest. Stan would just shrug. Well, at least she remembered her dad this time. And Cartman would explode, yeah, Joan of Arc of the soap market. Then the interview shifted to the kids and their future. The host pointed out that Archie and Lilibet are growing up a world away from Meghan's so-called humble childhood. How do they handle that? Meghan said she and Harry are hands-on parents. They do it all themselves. Being parents is the most important thing for me and my husband, she repeated. And she added that even with all their privileges, their goal is to raise kids who are kind, aware, and thoughtful, children who want to make the world a better place. How? Just start with the basics. Take your plate and put it in the sink without expecting anyone else to do it for you. Cartman snorts. A plate in the sink? Give her the Nobel Prize for parenting. Did you hear that, guys? The guru of Montecito just invented doing the dishes. And Butters quietly adds, my parents never gave interviews when they made me take my plate to the sink. The host asked, do you think your kids will read the articles about you? Meghan nodded. Yes, I think so. But I'll tell them the truth. In a way, they'll get it when the time comes. Cartman nearly fell off his chair. The truth? In little bite-sized pieces. One version today, something else tomorrow. Genius. Kyle frowned. That's just an excuse. Like, we'll talk about what's easy and ignore the rest. Then the host tried to lighten things up with an easier question. What's your go-to meal for the kids when you don't have time? Meghan smiled. Frozen nuggets and frozen tater tots. Just pop them in the oven and they're ready. And Lilibet loves mac and cheese. Stan sighed. Well, at least that sounds true. But Cartman wouldn't let it go. Seriously? Even I eat better than her imaginary kids. Now, the best part? The as-ever business and her famous jams. Meghan proudly declares that the first batch of jars sold out instantly, and now they're aiming for millions in sales. It's a challenge, turning a homemade recipe into a mass product while keeping the quality, she says. Kyle can't hold back. Millions of jars? Meghan, why not go for billions? Don't be modest. Then the drama starts with the name. The host asks directly, who are you, really? Meghan Sussex? Duchess of Sussex? Or still Meghan Markle? Meghan responds hesitantly that in the royal system, a last name isn't really a last name, that Americans won't understand this, and then says, my legal name is Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. Sussex is our family name. But that's not true. Duchess of Sussex is a title, not a last name. Officially, she should be Meghan Mountbatten Windsor like her kids. All her talk about the last name is branding, turning the title into a label for her projects. Butters blinks in surprise. I thought you needed a last name for your passport, not for jam labels. Towards the end of the interview, the host asks, what truth about you should people know? Meghan pauses, like she's about to drop some life-changing secret. No one's ever asked me that, she says, acting all surprised. Then she adds, I want people to know I'm a real person. Cartman nearly fell off his chair. What? You thought we considered you a mythical creature? Of course you're a person, just not much honesty going on. Mr. Garrison shakes his head. She could have said something about her values or mistakes. But to say I'm real? That sounds more like a marketing slogan. Meghan continues. I've had friends since I was 17, a real family. I drive my kids to school myself. In the world of clickbait, it's easy to forget that I'm a person. Cartman rolls his eyes. Oh, poor Duchess. People can't even afford eggs these days, and her tragedy is bad stuff online. Bravo, Miss Rial. Kyle sums it up. Okay, you're real. Really boring. Then they started talking about Montecito. The host asks, why did this place become your home? Meghan goes on about how she and Harry are finally happy, how they drive their kids to school and live a normal life. Like they were locked away in Britain. In reality, William and Kate also drive their kids to school without making a big deal of it, and no one was locking them at the palace gates. Meghan takes the most ordinary things and acts like she's just discovered them. Cartman goes, wow, kids go to school in Montecito? I thought they were immediately cast in Hollywood. Kyle dryly adds, Eric, it's the same in London. Imagine that. Then they move on to her series With Love, Meghan. Emily Chang gently reminds her that, yes, the show made it into the top 10 on Netflix, but the reviews were mixed. Meghan starts defending herself. I knew who I was making it for. My audience is thrilled. Our partners are happy. So, there's going to be a second season. As for the critics, maybe they're secretly making spaghetti with my recipes. What she really means is, don't like my show, you're still a fan. Convenient, right? The reality, though, is that there's no second season. Netflix just cut the first season into 2 parts to make it look less like a flop. But Meghan presents it as a personal triumph. Now to the As Ever brand. The host asks, every celebrity has a brand. What makes yours special? Meghan says without missing a beat. Authenticity and price. I write all the copy myself, and I put my heart into it. There's room for everyone in the world. Sounds nice, but it's the same old trick. I'm not like the others, I'm special. The problem is, other celebrities' brands are a natural extension of their talent and careers, while Meghan's talent is marrying a prince and playing the role of a businesswoman. Her slogans for As Ever? Cheap, cheesy wordplay that sounds like it came from a beginner's guide to marketing. Cartman, munching on chips, yells, Meghan, your brand is special. It's the only one no one wants. Finally, social media. The host asks, is your return to Instagram a launch or a rebrand? Meghan giggles. Oh, how funny you asked, as if it were a silly question. Classic move. Deflect the question to avoid answering it. Then she says, it's not a rebrand, I'm just showing the real me. On Instagram, I share the real deal. Fun, joy, and living life. Sounds sweet, but it's the same broken record. I'm authentic. Lots of words, zero substance. Kyle sighs. Meghan, we get it. You're one of a kind. Can we hear something else already? Now here's the real truth. Meghan talks for hours, but there's really nothing new in what she's saying. No fresh ideas, no real details, no honesty. Just the same old I'm real with another attempt to rewrite her own story. She complains, plays the victim, and at the same time pretends to be a businesswoman. But the result is always the same. People don't see the new Meghan. They just see the same old emptiness with a bit more drama. Stan sighs. The problem isn't that she's lying. The problem is that she has nothing to offer anymore. And that's all for today. What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'm really curious to hear from you. And if you enjoyed this one, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. See you in the next video.